Mini E. A whole new kind of paradigm for a company that's already eco and carbon friendly. So
right.
Tell us about this car in terms of why you're marketing it as carefully as you are and what you hope to achieve.
Well, we know what's possible today. We have the Mini Cooper that gets 37 miles per gallon and that is extremely environmentally friendly, but still is a fun car to drive. And the question is, what will we need for tomorrow? And this is an experience in terms of seeing, can we use a different technology and how will Americans respond to it? So the Mini E is an all-electric Mini, and it will go 125 to 155 miles on a charge. And it still is a fun car to drive. It goes 0 to 62 in 8.5 seconds and has a top speed of 95 miles per hour, yet it has no pollution from the car itself.
So it's very comparable performance-wise to a standard Mini.
Yeah, it's very comparable. The car is a little heavier, but the suspension has been adapted to accommodate that. The DSC system has been modified.
And feature and component-wise, are the initial cars going to all come in one flavor, or will you still be able to customize them?
This is the one exception to the rule where we won't have customization. All of the cars will look like the one that we're looking at right now, the same color scheme. They'll all have the same equipment, but every car is individualized in terms of it has a unique serial number that you can see on the side of the car.
And because of the limited focus of your initial rollout and marketing, will the cars only be leased? Will they be leased or purchased? What are the options there for people?
Okay, well, there are 450 of these cars available. 250 of them will be available in Southern California. 200 of them will be available in the New York metro area in the states of New Jersey and New York. And anyone that wants one of these cars needs to come to miniusa.com and file an application. The lease price for the car is $850 a month. And we are already getting lots of applications. We got the first application 5 minutes after the press conference. And what we'll do is look at the applications to try and match up who is the best potential match with the car. So think of it in terms of an adoption process. We want to have a really good test with these cars. We want people whose daily driving habits match the potential range of the car. But we also want people that are willing to experience a future-oriented technology and then give us their feedback on it so we can use that as we develop future cars for the BMW Group and Mini.
Naturally, you find yourselves always a step ahead or breaking into new ground. How exciting is it? Does it get old for you, or is it always like, oh, I got to do the next new thing?
You know what? It is so much fun working at Mini. I probably shouldn't let this out, but it's so much fun. I'm glad that they pay us still. But it's great because it's a car that so many people have an immediate emotional connection with. And we've seen when we introduced the Clubman, Mini can come in various shapes and forms. Now it can come with different drivetrain technologies. So there's a lot that's possible, and it's fun to explore it because I really think it's giving many Americans another choice in terms of the way they want to drive.
Speaking of the Clubman, you now have nearly a year of experience with it. Did it meet the 25% mix that you were hoping for?
Well, actually, the Clubman has exceeded our expectations. So we've had to bring additional production for the Clubman because the waiting lists were just getting a little long. So we're very happy with the response the Clubman has received.
And the John Cooper Works thing, is that still a niche thing, or are you finding that broadening out into a broader audience in terms of people that want a Clubman specifically as opposed to a Cooper Clubman, as opposed, or a Cooper S as opposed to just adding some parts?
Well, in terms of the John Cooper Works, since we introduced it in the summer, it's had an extremely strong reception. And the interesting thing about the John Cooper Works cars is how many people really are spending a lot of care specifying their individual car and then waiting for it to come.
And that's really, these days, one of the best ways to get a car is to pick out what you want, order it, comes to you. Do people keep their cars longer then?
Well, we have a lot of Mini owners that once they start driving their car, never want to give it back under any circumstances. So we're just now getting to the point that some of the early owners are ready to trade for a new Mini, but people build an emotional attachment to a Mini and they want to stick with it for a long time.
One big question about this. I love the fact that 150-mile range, decent acceleration, very similar to the main Mini. 2 hours to recharge the battery, but how do you recharge the battery?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's see if we can, yep, it's free here. This is the cable, and everyone that gets one of these leases will have a charger box installed at our cost in their garage. And you just plug it into the side of the car where the gas filler normally is. I'll walk you around the car and show you what it looks like over there.
Sure.
You take the plug that I showed you, you just insert it here, and once it's been inserted, it takes 2 to 3 hours. It depends how much of the charge is remaining from the prior drive, and then you're good to go. But it does take a certain amount of personal discipline. You know, we've all learned to brush our teeth before we go to bed at night. You've got to remember before you brush your teeth to plug the car in, and that way you'll be all set to go the next morning.
And if you're out and about and find you're low on power, will Mini dealers have charging stations?
Many dealers will have charging stations, but we have this meter built into the car that tells you the amount of the remaining charge that you have available. And we're really looking for people that, because of their daily use patterns, will find it easy to be able to work with 125 to 155 miles per day. I can't wait to meet the people that after they've been driving it for a couple months to see what their responses have been.
Have you thought about how you're going to measure that response from them over time?
Yeah, in the application process, we ask a potential lessee to always be in touch with us about their experiences. So it's not as though they will disappear and we won't hear from them. Think of getting letters from your child at camp. We'll be getting emails from the owners telling us what the experiences are so that we can make certain that we're learning as we go through the process.